Join me as I dive into the wild story of a guy who faked his own death to dodge taxes. Let's see if I can figure out how he pulled it off. You know, the concept of faking one's death to evade taxes might sound like a crazy scheme only seen in movies, but believe it or not, there have been real-life cases where people have actually tried to pull this off. In fact, there was a notorious case in the 90s where a wealthy businessman faked his own death to avoid paying millions of dollars in taxes. But today, we're going to dive deeper into another fascinating story of someone who tried to cheat the system. Tax evasion, including faking one's death, is considered a serious criminal offense that can lead to severe legal and financial implications. If caught, individuals can face hefty fines, penalties, and even imprisonment. Moreover, the financial implications can be disastrous, as the government can seize assets, freeze bank accounts, and garnish wages. The risks involved are just too great, and yet, people still try to find ways to game the system. It's not just about the legal and financial implications, though, it's also about the moral and ethical implications. Faking one's death not only hurts the individual themselves but also affects their loved ones, friends, and even the community at large. It's a selfish act that can cause irreparable harm to those around them. And when you think about it, it's just not worth the risk. What's even more astonishing is that tax authorities are becoming increasingly sophisticated in detecting tax fraud. They have advanced tools and technologies to track down even the most elusive tax evaders. So, the chances of getting caught are extremely high, and the consequences are severe. Moving on, let's get back to our story. So, how did this individual manage to pull off the fake death? From what I gathered, it was a meticulously planned operation that involved creating a fake identity, forging documents, and even staging a fake funeral. The level of detail and deception was incredibly sophisticated, and it's mind-boggling to think about how far people will go to avoid paying their taxes. According to reports, the individual started by creating a fake identity, complete with a new name, social security number, and even a fake driver's license. They then proceeded to create a paper trail, forging documents and bills to make it seem like they were still alive and kicking. The planning was so thorough that they even managed to convince their friends and family that they had indeed passed away. The execution was equally impressive, with the individual staging a fake funeral, complete with a fake casket, flowers, and even a eulogy. It was a performance worthy of an Oscar, and it's a testament to the individual's creativity and cunning. But, as we all know, you can't fool the authorities forever. Eventually, the facade began to unravel, and it was only a matter of time before the individual was caught. It all started to fall apart when a curious neighbor reported seeing the deceased individual walking around the neighborhood. At first, the authorities thought it was just a case of mistaken identity, but as they dug deeper, they discovered a web of lies and deceit that led them straight to the individual. The evidence was damning, and it didn't take long for the authorities to build a solid case against the individual. In the end, they were caught and brought to justice, serving as a cautionary tale to anyone thinking of trying to game the system. In the end, our individual faced severe consequences for their actions, including fines, penalties, and even imprisonment. It's a stark reminder that tax evasion, including faking one's death, is a serious offense that can have devastating consequences. Thanks for joining me on this wild ride, folks. If you have any thoughts on this crazy story or tax evasion in general, be sure to drop them in the comments below. And if you're new here, consider subscribing for more content on financial crimes and scams.